So good evening to Doctor and my fellow friends. We are from Group 1, Section 4. So before we start the presentations, please allow me to do the introductions for my groups. My name is Tan Chida. You guys can call me Steve. And here are the group members of Group 1, which are Wei Hang, Wei Shi, CK, and Hyung Yang. So later they will discuss the specific part for the infography. So firstly, let me start my presentations. Before we talk about the air cleaner, we have to know what are the air cleaners. So air cleaners can be named as air purifier since they have similar functions, which is sanitize and filter the air. An air purifier or air cleaner is a device which removes contaminants from the air in a room and to improve the indoor air quality. These devices are commonly marketed as being beneficial to allergy sufferers and asthmatic, and at reducing or eliminating secondhand tobacco smoke. So let's talk about some story for the air cleaners. So in 1830, a patent was awarded to Charles Anthony Dien for a device comprising a copper helmet with an attached flexible collar and garment. A long needle was attached to the rail of the helmet was to be used to supply air, and the original concept being that it will be pumped using a double bellow. A short pipe allowed brief air to escape. The garment was to construct from leather or airtight cloth, which is secured by the strap. So, in short, the air cleaner are the devices that used to remove the pollutants from air and to improve the quality of air. So, why? Why do we need an air purifier or air cleaner? The reason that we need air purifier in our real life is because we can actually breathe the freshness, keep our loved ones safe from bacteria, virus, and haze with our air purifier cleaner that's equipped with HEPA or other antivirus filter. So not only that, together as a team, our journey of unyielding new possibilities, new solutions, and new beginnings will continue for generations to come. Now I will hand over to the next presenter to present about the Coulomb's law.
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Lim Wei Hang, and my metric number is AE190098. Now, I would like to explain my part in this assignment regarding the Coulomb's law. In 1785, the Coulomb's law founder, as well as a French physician, Charles de Gostin de Coulomb, published his first 3 reports of electricity and magnetism, where he stated his law. He used a torsion balance to study the repulsion and attraction force of charged particles. And he determined that the magnitude of the electric force between 2-point charges is directly proportional to the product of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So, nowadays, we can use this law to measure the force between the charges. According to the Coulomb's law, the charges have this characteristic. First, lightly charged will repel each other, and unlightly charged will attract each other. Second, neither the attraction and repulsion force will act along the line between the charges only. Third, the size of force varies inversely to the square of the distance between the charges. Fourth, the size of force is proportional to the product of the charges. Therefore, we can know that the force is directly proportional to the product of the charge and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the charges. Let me take an example. Let's say there are two charges Q1 and Q2, and the distance between them is R. The force of attraction or repulsion between them is F, so that we can conclude a formula that F is equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared, where K is equals to the 1 over 4 epsilon naught, which is permittivity of a vacuum, that equals to 8.854 times 10 to the power of negative 12. Through this characteristic I mentioned above, the Coulomb's law is much useful in this application of air cleaner, because the cleaner can remove the pollutant from air when the molecules lose electron.
Good evening, doctor. I'm Yap Hyung-yang and my matrix number is AE190095, and now I'm going to explain the parts of the air cleaner. Although there's many types of air cleaner in the market, but most of them still have four common parts, which is pre-filter, ionizer, collector, and carbon filter. A pre-filter installed before the cell is required to maintain the working efficiencies of the air cleaner by capturing the larger particles like dust and allow the cells to perform effectively for longer periods before needing cleaning. So we can say that the purpose of the pre-filter is to reduce the overall operations cost by extending the life of the final filter. Next is ionizer. An ionizer is a device part that electrically charges a molecule. This process causes pollutant, for examples like allergens, pollens, or smoke, to become larger, and therefore easier to trap inside the air purifier filters. However, some ionizer will generate ozone and pose a threat to your health that may contribute to breathing problems. The charges and particles then move into the collector sections and stick on its surface. The collector will get dirty and will need to be wiped out with a damp rag periodically in order to remove the collector pollutants. Lastly is a carbon filter. The after filter is to absorb any oils and fumes being recirculated through the home and to capture particles which did not take an electrical charge. It's also important that it can remove ozone emitted from electrical discharge and capture ash that brush off from a plate. So now I'll let my friend Richie to continue.
Good evening, doctor. My name is Wan Weiqi with the metric number of AE190085. Next, I would like to explain about how the air cleaner is working on the principle of electrostatic, which uses the forces of an electric field on the charged particles to separate the particles such as the dust, pollutants, and contaminants from a gas stream. Firstly, the air cleaner is usually designed to have two components with an ionizing component where a place of the electron cloud is created and a collecting component is placed where the charged dust particles are pulled out from the air and being attracted to the collector of air cleaner. The collecting components consist of a series of parallel steel plates where the half are grounded and the half are carry a positive direct current voltage, and thus alternate plates are either in positively or negatively charged. While for the ionizing components consist of thin wires strung between a separate set of grounded steel ionizing plates, and it is set in front of the collector plates. Next, the particles is considered charged and pass through the electric field. Then this will cause the particles to migrate towards an oppositely charged electrode that acts as a collection surface. On the other hand, the positive charges in the wires induce a flow of electrons between the wires and the adjacent ionizing plates. Therefore, due to the very high voltage on the wire, the corona ionization, where uses the electric current to create bipolar ionized A, or the direct current corona surrounding a highly charged electrode and make the electrons are pushed toward it. Thus, the large potential gradient near the electrode causes a corona discharge compulsing electrons, and the gas molecules become ionized with charges of the same polarity as the wire electrode. In addition, these ions will collide with and attach to the particles and charging the particles. As a result, when the potential difference between the wire and plate electrodes increases, the electrical breakdown of the gas occurs near the wire, and when the gas molecule get excited, more of the electrons can shift to a higher energy level which known as transient state. Therefore, when these molecules lose electrons, they take on a positive charge and are thus attracted to the negatively charged collector plate within the air cleaner, and the pollutants and contaminants are being removed. As a conclusion, this can be concluded that the air cleaner will shut the air inside the air cleaner system. In this process, this will send electricity which will make particles heavier by making them positively or negatively charged. The airborne particles will no longer be airborne and will stick to the walls of the air cleaners, as the layer inside the air cleaner will attract opposite charges and hold them on the layer. In short, the air cleaner will release the fresh air which free from the unwanted particles such as the dust and pollutants to the environment. Thank you. Next, I will let my team member Wong Chin Kang CK to continue for the further explanation of the working principle of air cleaner. Thank you.
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Wong Jin Kang. Can call me CK. My metric number is AE180110. And now I will do the further explanation about the generation of corona and discuss how it works on an air cleaner. The space between the wire and the plate can be divided into two parts, which is FD zone and the passive zone. In the FD zone, defined by the corona growth discharge, electron leave the wire electrode and impact gas molecule, thereby ionizing the molecule. The additional free electron also accelerate and ionize more gas molecule. This avalanche process continues until the electric field decreases to the point when the released electron do not acquire sufficient energy for ionization. A negative corona is formed if the discharged electrode is negative, and a positive corona is formed if the discharged electrode is positive. In a negative corona, positive ions are attached toward to the negative wire electrode, and the electron attached toward the positive plate. Beyond the corona growth region, this electric field diminishes rapidly, and if electronegative gas are present, the gas molecule become ionized by electron impact. The negative ion moves toward the plate electrode. In the passive zone, these ions attach themselves to aerosol particle. When a corona is negative, the free electron leaving the empty zone on their way to the plate are transformed into negative ion with substantially lower mobility. The negative charge carrier thus cover the first part of their trajectory as fast free electron and the second part as slower ion. Their average mobility is lower than that of free electron, but higher than of the large electron. Thus, a negative corona is manifested in a non-uniform corona. On the other hand, when a corona is positive, the positive charge carriers are large, slow ion by the origin and retain this form throughout their motion. Therefore, a positive corona is manifested as a uniform field between the wire and plate. Consequently, a negative corona always has a higher corona current than a positive corona for an applied voltage. In contrast, a positive corona has a much lower density of free electron compared to the negative corona. A negative corona generates much more ozone than the corresponding positive corona. As a reaction, that produce ozone are relatively low energy. The greater number of electrons of a negative corona lead to increased production of ozone. Therefore, a positive corona is usually used for the cleaning the air in occupied space. That's all my presentation, and my friend will later continue to the presentation for the conclusion. Thank you.
In conclusions, there are numerous applications of the Coulomb's law that we found from these discussions. Coulomb's law is used to calculate the distance between the charge. Coulomb's law is also used to calculate the force between the charge. Coulomb's law is used to calculate the force on a point due to the presence of several point charge, and is also known as superposition theorem. So Coulomb's law can be wisely used in our real life, which from Xerox machines to laser printer, as well as to powder coatings. Let's talk about powder coating. The Coulomb's force of attraction existing between the positive charge powder and the negative charge object allows the pen to get evenly deposit on the surface of the object. It is most commonly used in the automobile industry and for other commercial applications. So why we need an air purifier? For instance, if you are a pet owner, no matter how neat your pet might seem, the pet dander is flying through the air. So the pet dander is one of the popular allergy triggers and usually become a reason why you can't have a pet. So children are more sensitive to pet dander than adults are, even if you don't have kids. Even if you don't have kids or allergies, the pet dander can still be dangerous for you. Your body is working overtime to get rid of all the pollutants. By adding pet dander to the list, you risk developing allergy in the future. A simple air cleaner or air purifier can actually solve all the above problems. You can finally play with your pets without experiencing any side effect while enjoying the clean air. So, in my opinions, air cleaners are one of the machines that really helpful for humans. These machines can actually protect our respiratory system as well as produce a healthy life for humans. So that's it for our presentations. Thank you.